Good morning, everyone. I'm up, not very early, but here I am, gotta get my coffee sorted out, because after all, I'm gonna end up falling asleep if I don't get this in me. So, hey-ho, make of that what you will. But of course, you didn't come here to find out whether or not I'm about to have a bout of, I'm gonna hit the fucking floor. No, I wanted to talk a bit more about the whole situation with Ireland again. So, I mentioned I made a mistake with the what's-his-face actually being a Albanian, what have you. Another illegal immigrant that has no legal or human right to be in Ireland. But what if I were to tell you that right now, the mainstream media and the Irish government are doing everything they can to stop the indigenous people of Ireland from knowing what exactly has happened. Because it turns out they have put some kind of legal injunction on it to basically stop people from saying what it really is. Well, unfortunately, it involves a small girl. And all I'll say on the matter is, and you should probably be able to work it out from there. That's right. One of these girls has met the worst fate possible. And what do they do about the man they've arrested now, who's arrested on charges of possessing knives? They're doing everything they can to gag this. They are doing everything they physically fucking can to gag this shit. And never mind the fact this is a tablespoon rather than a teaspoon. Anyway, the point is, they are doing all they can to stop people protesting on this matter. In fact, there was one person who is not indigenous, who is not an Irish citizen, or at least in my humble opinion, who is basically on what I would call the other side of the wall, as it were. A person who said that if he had his way about the protesters in Ireland, he would want them beaten to death. Quite a hateful thing to say, wouldn't you say? What if I were to tell you that nothing's going to come out of that man because of the fact he's on the other side of the fence? Insulting, isn't it? I think, at this point, violent revolution is now inevitable. I really mean that. Nothing like a nice cup of coffee. Anyway, we are heading towards that situation now. We're heading to a situation where basically the Irish citizens have got two choices. Violent revolution or go non-existent. Because what do you think's going to happen? They're going to keep bringing in the illegal immigrants that have no legal or human right to be here because the retard Prime Minister of Ireland has decided to develop the Merkel Syndrome, as I like to call it. All of you who can come shall come over here in your hundreds and your fucking thousands. Yes, I am going to call it Merkel Syndrome. Because she was the first person who coined it, that all of those that can come, can come. Bit like what Nigel Farage had said. And what we have at this point is protesters who are being threatened with arrest just because they're speaking out about it, and not because of the riots and what have you. People in Ireland are quite rightly pissed off that their children are getting... And I don't blame them. If I found out that children in my hometown were being stabbed, I would be pissed as well. Because what you have to understand is we have been telling these retards in power over the last 20 years that if we continue to import foreign cultures from the Middle East and other third world shitholes, 5th century shitholes, that we are basically going to bring about the dark times in our countries once again. There is a reason why we should not be taking in loads of people from Syria, loads of people from Albania, loads of people from Afghanistan, from Russia, etc., etc. Now, granted, Russia hasn't been as much trouble. But the point is, we are not vetting these people right now. And because of that, it stands to reason why we are putting ourselves in the shit, as it were. But of course, the mainstream media won't tell you this. You know it's coming, because say it with me, folks, it doesn't suit the narrative. We have murderous scumbags who are taking their boats and paddling along, or using their hands or whatever, coming across to our countries in their dinghies and being helped about halfway by our retarded border force who literally think it's perfectly acceptable to ship over people who have no documentation, we have no information who they are, we have no information about what their past is, and that are potentially it's already been admitted by our government and what have you, they're a national threat to security. But we just keep bringing them in. Obviously, the British people and the Irish people aren't taking this kindly because they did not ask or vote for this. But our governments are currently ignoring the will of the British people. They are not listening to their own subjects. Now, back in the day, when kings and queens used to rule, if the people felt like their leader was ruling in an unjust manner, guess what? They would do everything they can to make sure that person was deposed or decapitated. Because they do not want a tyranny. They do not want a treacherous king or queen. It's the same here. We do not want traitors in power who are going to put the feelings and the well-being of terrorists, murderers, rapists, drug dealers, etc., etc. first over its own fucking citizens. It makes my blood boil when I keep seeing this shit. When I see people who are being persecuted for who they are rather than what they've done. People who are being persecuted for just being concerned. Namely, the Irish people. How the mainstream media will label them as far right because they don't want them to be speaking the truth about these people. And what's the best way for them to try and shut them down? Call them racists, call them Nazis, call them fascists. Even though at this point, we all know it's projection at this point. Like, this is literally one of those two-way mirrors. They're sitting there in their little safe house, pushing out all these accusations, while they think they're nice and safe in their little room. No, you are not safe. We'll find out who you traitors are eventually, bring you out into the light, and you will be worldly condemned for your actions. And like I said before, what's happening in Ireland is a precursor to what's going to happen in Britain. Like, when they're done with Ireland, when they've done turning the Irish people, when they're done turning the Irish place into a third world shithole, do you think they're going to stop there? I don't. I think they're going to then continue to come over, but they'll now be hitting us from the left-hand side of the country. We've already got people coming in from the French channels, and then we're going to have people coming in. It's almost going to be like a fucking pincer attack. And we're going to be stuck in the middle of it. And they're going to bring their murder, their rape, their pillage, their drug dealing, their trafficking, and everything else to this country. Why do you think for the last 7 or 8 fucking years people have been adamantly protesting against migration? We want the borders closed. A lot of people want the borders straight up closed, on the spot, no questions asked. They want it so that these people cannot come into this country, because we are jam-packed as it is. Like, think of it like a pack of jammy Dodgers, and then instead of accepting that the thing is full, you're trying to cram like another 10 in there. Like, that's what we're at right now. We are basically at a spot where we can't cope. They're draining our money. They're draining our NHS. They're killing our people. They're raping our children. They're violating our rights. And while all this goes on, our politicians want us to think, oh, think of their human rights. Think of the people who are going around stabbing your people. Think about their human rights. Do you think they care about our human rights when they're stabbing children? Do you think they care about our human rights when they're coming over to our country and stabbing a fucking elderly man to death? A man who wants to enjoy his retirement and then some illegal comes around and fucking stabs him. I don't find that funny. I don't even find it remotely funny. In fact, I only wish I could have been where that man was so I could stab the prick who stabbed him. Yeah, I might serve a bit of time in jail, but you know what? At least I'd save a man's life. Or at least try to save a man's life. And if the jury has any humanity, I'm sure I'd be cleared. Because I'd be trying to defend an Indigenous British person. But the mainstream media will not portray it like that. The mainstream media will not portray us as concerned citizens. They will always try to perceive us as far right. At this point, they may as well make it one of those fucking medals that the World War II vets got. They might as well just have a fucking medal made. Just has an arrow on it. And it says far on it. And then stick it on. You have been rewarded the far right commendation. Like, that's basically what it is at this point. They have detached so much meaning from far right and racist and fascist. It's almost like name tags that are basically badges of honour at this point. And I must reckon that the Irish people must be running out of metal and gold and all that shit for the amount of fucking metals that they're using to produce all these medals for the Irish people. But I digress. I think at this point, our politicians, they do want civil war. They do want civil war. They do want a violent revolution. And they want it so that the media can portray us as the bad guys. But when history looks back on us and they realise we were merely protecting our country and our basically our rights, they won't look at us as saying, oh, look at them. They were savages back then. They were violent. They were racist. They were far right. They were blah, blah, blah. No, they're not going to look at us like that. They're going to look at us as the people who wanted to defend their country to the last man and woman and, if necessary, child. Though I hope it never gets to that. I tell you what, I think I'm going to be having a lot more coffee over these Christmas days. The weather it's gotten to, like -3. Anyway, the point is, they are doing this to set another narrative. They are doing this to try and make us out to look like the antagonists. They are the antagonists. They are the masters of projection. They are the ones who are inciting hatred and violence and death upon the British people. Why is it? Well, you also had a BBC presenter who is very clearly an indigenous British person, obvious sarcasm, who said that, I think it was The Country, or the BBC or whatever, was overwhelmingly white. Blatant racism, basically. Racism against people like me. Do you think they would take that if it was the other way round? I don't think so. I think if somebody said, this place is overwhelmingly Muslim, there would be a meat wagon outside their house within minutes, if not seconds, with 30 policemen coming along and dragging them away to prison. I fucking guarantee that. They would do that the first chance they get. You would never be caught dead in olden days getting away with the shit that this man is getting away with. And in today's day, you wouldn't be caught dead getting away with saying that kind of shit about the Muslim community. Now, I'm using them as an example. Let me be clear. Islam, Muslims, whatever, they're not the vast majority of this country. But I will say that we are starting to become a minority because of the amount of foreigners that we're bringing in. Now, let me be clear. This is not me having a dig at all foreigners. But this is just me saying foreigners generally because we are importing loads of people from foreign countries, whether legally or not. But I will keep calling those who are breaking the EU's own laws of they must seek asylum in the first safe EU country they get to. I will call all of them fucking illegal immigrants that have no legal or human right to be here. Because it's the facts. But again, mainstream media won't tell you that. And the fact that the media are more interested in labelling the people of Dublin, the people of Ireland, as far right, with coffee going everywhere. Anyway, they're more interested in labelling them far right than dealing with the people who are going around and have murdered a fucking child. Does that make you angry? I know it makes me angry. I know I don't look it right now. And frankly, I want to control myself. As hard as that might be. Because at the end of the day, I've got to portray this in a professional light. It does disgust me, in all honesty, that this is how our politicians treat us. Remember what I said before. People shouldn't fear their governments. Governments should fear their people. And the way I look at it is these illegals need to be deported. All of them. Now. Because this only ends two ways. It either ends with us overthrowing the government and taking these fuckers back to their country of origin, or it ends with Britain and Ireland in flames. Or both. I mean, I can't say for sure that we're all going to be completely safe. What I can say is that we need to get ready to defend ourselves. I would say, arm yourselves. Arm yourselves to make sure when they come for you, you're able to defend yourself. Because remember, the police no longer serve the public. They serve the terrorists, the murderers, the rapists, the scumbags, basically. And the traitors of our country. They are the Gestapo. Like in World War II. The Nazis' Gestapo. And it's deliciously ironic. And I'm not talking about the fish fingers I've made. Anyway, it's deliciously ironic that they're saying that we need to be accepting of these people. No, we would be accepting if they were willing to integrate. If they genuinely integrated with society. But what we have right now is people who don't tolerate us, our beliefs, our opinions and whatever, and want us killed. And since Islam has sunk its teeth into our British politics, We have been going down the shitter, put simply. I'll say it here again. Turn your back on the police. Don't help them. They never helped us. You'd be lucky to see a policeman in a week when it comes down to a burglary, but they're more than willing to send 30 people to Tommy Robinson and then point blank him with pepper spray when he's restrained, which, as stated before, you're not allowed to do. That's where their priorities lie. They're willing to beat up their own fucking citizens with full riot squad police that they perceive as far right than they are doing their duty to you. Do you think that's going to change anytime soon? Do you really think that? You're fooling yourself. I don't trust the police anymore. And I never will until such time as they prove beyond doubt they're worthy of our trust. Because they are not right now. And let me be absolutely clear of what I said about arm yourselves. I'm not saying go out and attack them. I'm not saying go out and assault the police or assault the government. What I am saying, however, is that they will come for us sooner or later. Guarantee it. They'll come for us sooner or later. And we are well within our rights to defend ourselves. It's kind of sad, really, because there was actually a time, if I recall, with Tommy Robinson's mother, how Islamists wanted to try and kill her. They put a leaflet through her door, basically saying that she was not allowed to defend herself. No, this is not true. It's your home, and an Englishman's castle is his home. Or is it his home is his castle? I could never get that right. But my point is, we have every right to defend ourselves when we're in our own homes. Because it's like when you've got one army, you've got a person in his castle, and then all of a sudden you've got like a fucking, I don't know, a Anglo-Saxon or fucking Normandy army coming along. They want to walk into the castle. They're invading your castle. You have every right to defend yourself. And I know the police are not going to like me saying that. But the cold bare truth is, no person alive, no man has more power over man than man himself. I believe in the Magna Carta. I believe in the right to defend yourself if your home is being invaded. And let's face it, the police will eventually come to our homes and invade, because they'll want to find dissidents who are against the government. They will want to find people and arrest them. And they're not allowed to do that. Because then that is 1984. That is an Orwellian state. Fascism at its finest. If there's such a thing as fine. They will come, I promise you. And to the Irish people, I recommend the same. Arm yourselves. Be prepared to defend yourself. Because if they're willing to go against you, the indigenous Irish people, for being genuinely concerned with the people that are going out there and violating your kids, it stands to reason why you shouldn't trust the police. It stands to reason why you cannot trust the police. And like I am with the crumbs I've got on fucking fish fingers, you need to wipe your hands clean of them. They are not police anymore. They are not worthy of your respect. They are not worthy of your obedience, as it were. Because they need to be serving their public first. And protecting and serving and restoring order as quickly as possible. They're not doing that. And while I do not condone the rioting, the looting that went on in Ireland, I completely understand why they did it. And as said before, I'll say here again, there's a big difference between understanding why they do it, or why someone does what they do, and actually saying, yes, I sympathise with you. I completely understand, but I don't condone it. Let that be absolutely clear. And do you really think, like, let's take a giant step back. Let's say there's none of this corruption and shit going on. Let's say there aren't any illegals coming over to the country, murdering and pillaging and raping our kids and our wives and what have you. Let's just say everything is serene, peaceful and tranquil. For the sakes of argument of the point I'm trying to make here. So, if everything is all peaceful and what have you, and there's nothing evil going on, do you think I'd still have the same opinion? No, I wouldn't. You know why? Because there'd be nothing fucking wrong. And there'd be no reason to be like that. Like, if our government, or the Irish government, were doing a bloody good job of what they were doing, as in protecting their people, serving their people, carrying out the will of the British people and the Irish people, I would have no problems with them. And I would not even remotely think of saying the things I'm saying here. Because there'd be no need to. Because they'd be doing their fucking jobs. It is the fact that they have turned on us. And they are turning on their own fucking people. And basically, in a nutshell, taking a knife and stabbing us in the back. That's what they're doing. They're stabbing us in the back. They're stitching us up and trying to make us the bad guys. When it is them who are the bad people. If the police did their job, I wouldn't be calling for people to turn their back on the police. I wouldn't be calling for people to arm themselves in case the police decide to invade their homes. I would not be saying, fuck the police. It is a matter of what they have become. But they will try to spin the narrative that I'm far right if they ever find out about me. The closest they've gotten to actually fucking finding out who I am was outside London when I was with a fucking Brexit group and I was holding a sign on my head. Like, I was literally sitting there, hands like this, trying to hold a fucking sign and it's balanced on my frigging head. And they only did the back of me, so all they could see was the back of my glorious egghead. But that's not why you called. The point is that we have a media who are openly against us. We have police who have shown every bit of disrespect that they can to us. Back 50 years ago, if we had the police that we had back then, none of this would have happened. Because cops had, cops would have respect for themselves, wouldn't they? Anyway, people, and even criminals, had respect for the police. They feared the police. So, when a criminal ends up getting arrested and is like, oh, bollocks, I've been had. But they always say, it's a fair cop, generally speaking. But right now, they don't fear them. And there was a very good reason why there were very strict conditions on joining the police, which I didn't know about until I found, I can't remember the name off the top of my head. It's something in a ditch. And I think I linked their video in the description of the other video I did about Tommy Robinson. If that's the case, you can find it there. Otherwise, I'll link it in the description of this as well below. But this person categorically stated that in order to be in the police, you need to be at least 6 foot tall. And the reasoning, I didn't understand it at first, but then I was kind of like, oh yeah, that makes sense. That does make sense. So, imagine your little run, like this, like you're this fucking high. And bear in mind, this phone is on the windowsill. So, obviously, not getting the full height, but even if you're like this, like a little run, and my knees are going to fucking kill me for this. But anyway, imagine you're like this, rather than like that, where you're really bloody tall. if you're like 4 foot something or 5 foot something, I'm probably about 5'5" or something, maybe slightly higher or lower. But the reason they need you to be at 6 feet is so that you can see above the average crowd. That's why they do that. And it's also why they also have the helmets on, so anybody can pick them out. Yes, they stand out like a sore fucking thumb, but the point is, they need to be that high so that they can see things from beyond the crowd. That way you couldn't just hide from them. Nowadays, we've got women, with no disrespect to them, who are obviously much shorter, and they're sitting there in their fucking baseball caps. No! You don't dress up like you're going to a fucking casual meeting when you're a policeman. You have to dress up in a certain manner. Because that's what instills the fear in those criminals. And it's also the way that they can see you are serious. Because right now, do you think they find you serious when you're taking the knee to Black Lives Matter? Or maybe I was right first time. Do you think they find you serious when you are doing that fucking dance I can't remember? Oh. I'm not even going to fucking act it out, but they're fucking dancing in a pride show or some shit like that. Like, they're... It blows my mind, regardless, how they're just bending the knee to Black Lives Matter, celebrating at these goddamn events, on duty, I will add. Celebrating on duty, like, gay, bi, lesbian, trans, that kind of shit. Let me be clear, I'm not against them. I'm just saying they're celebrating this when they shouldn't be. Of course they're not going to take you serious, because they see you as a fucking joke. And that's what I'm trying to get at here. The police did what they did before in the past. No one would be taking them as a fucking joke. And obviously you couldn't be a fat fuck like me, because obviously you're going to be fucking running around a lot. And like, if you're a fat fuck like me. So you need to be physically fit. Unlike me. But my point is, they had much stricter conditions. And it was because then they knew they had to watch out for the police. Because they knew damn well they would get caught in the end. Nowadays, as I said, the police are a fucking joke. That's why people neither fear nor respect them. And it's why I stand to reason of why I say we need to defend ourselves from them. And we need to turn our backs on them when they ask for help. When they sit there trying to apprehend a criminal, leave them to it. Don't even help them. If you want to record, bonus points. And that's a horrible mindset to take. A completely unacceptable mindset to take. I grant that. But the way I look at it is, as I've said before, and I will say here again, until they're worthy of our respect, don't give them any help. Until they're worthy of getting help, don't bother giving it to them. Let them fend for themselves. And we'll see how quickly that they are able to apprehend people then. We'll see how quick they are to condemn the British public and the Irish public then. When they desperately need help and no one will help them because they are universally condemned by their own fucking people. The Irish people are doing the right thing by protesting. I only want them to not commit illegal acts while they do it. That's my only caveat here. They're perfectly within their rights to protest. But I would recommend not committing looting and acts of violence and all that shit. But I do completely understand why they do it. Completely. Because anybody with even the slightest shred of human emotion would not tolerate kids being hurt. Ever. And I hate kids, let me be clear. I am not a big fan of kids. But even I appreciate that they have not lived their full lives, and kids can change. And kids have their whole lives ahead of them. Obviously, this doesn't put me in a good light, the fact that I hate kids. But, generally speaking, I'm not going to sit there and be like, oh, I want to rip them a new arsehole. No, I'm just going to be like, I'm not a big fan of kids. I'm going to stay away from them, keep my distance from them, because I'm not a big fan of them. But if they do get hurt, if someone were to attack them in front of me, I'd fucking help the children. Don't think I wouldn't. I would help the children if they were in danger, because they don't fucking deserve that shit. But like I said, we're heading towards civil war and violent revolution. It's inevitable now. Because eventually, the Irish people will finally crack. And when they do, their government is going to suffer the consequences on the back of it. Didn't know I could change my voices. Anyway, they will start acting out against their government and overthrow it. Guarantee it. And then when that does happen, it'll happen here in the United Kingdom as well. What will they do? Bring in the army? Well, I can't say the same for Ireland, but I can say that back when Boris was in power, like I've said before, and will say again, they said that if there was ever a coup attempt attempted, they would be on the side of the British people. It reminds me of people like Major Farley. And anybody who's been following me back when I was on my old channel, Debeamer, will know that Major Farley had a massive fucking go at his own soldiers. I believe it was in Leeds, though I can't remember off the top of my head. Or was it Huddersfield? Can't remember. But anyway, he had a go at his own soldiers just because they stood next to Tommy Robinson and had pictures with him. Massive fucking snowflake. I remember how I started it as well. I was like, Major Farley, or is it Major Cunt? That kind of shit. And it was back when I was working for a security firm, I believe. A specialist in locks and doorbells and what have you. Back at Broadham Business Park. They really treated me well up there. But we're not here to talk about what I did in the past. I'm here to say that basically we need to be ready for war. Arm yourselves. Be prepared to defend yourselves. Because the enemy this time is not even the people who are coming over here illegally, although they are contributing to the problem. It is the enemy within. And I feel like I'm quoting my XCOM game now. My favourite game, XCOM Enemy Within. Anyway, we have to be ready to fight the enemy within, which is our government and our crooked police. Because at the end of the day, it's only going to get progressively worse. It's like a tumour. Like, if you've got a tumour here, it's only going to keep growing and get worse. It's a parasite that needs to be removed. And until we deal with this directly at the source, we will never have the peace that we had once before. Our government and the Irish government need to be taught a harsh lesson. And our police, both in Dublin, Ireland, whatever, and here in the UK, need to be reminded of that oath that they took. And they need to be reminded that they still answer to us. And they have grown so weak and so pathetic compared to what they were 50 plus years ago. Do they really think they're going to stop a group of strong men? And I accept I'm not one of the strong men. But do you really think they're going to stop us? And if they call in the army, they're only going to shoot themselves in the foot. Arm yourselves. I don't condone violence. I don't condone attacking the police directly. But if they come after us, defend yourself in your own home. That's all I'll say on the matter. we've got to take back our country from these traitors. The only option we, Britain, have left at this point is to vote reform and hope to God they get into power. That's our only hope now. Because if we don't have reform in power, we're going down the toilet. It's as simple as that. Because I believe Richard Tice will guide this country back in the right direction. Get rid of these woke laws and ensure the safety of our own people first. Take a look at Geert Wilders. They consider him a far-right Prime Minister. But you know what he's doing? He's not far-right, he's a patriot. He is a nationalist. He looks after his own people first. And he categorically says, if you are part of the extremist part of Islam that wants to threaten to hurt and murder and kill and rape and pillage and what have you, you are not welcome here. We need to adopt his same stance. But we also need to take out the trash that lies in our police force and our government. Because that's the only way we will have any chance of salvaging this country and getting it back on the right track and have that train plough through out of those dark times. My name's Dabima, also known as Abathorex, and I am, as always, very, very bad news for our corrupt police and government, and our lamestream media, and of course, the child murderer who's gone and murdered a child in Dublin. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day. And of course, as always, fuck the government and fuck the police.